Welcome back to Making Me Watch Movies. The movie you're making me watch today is Possession, 1981, directed by, I forgot,
Andrzej Żuławski?
Andrzej
Sure.
Żuławski.
Polish guy.
This is one of those artsy films. Who's got a haiku? Schwartz?
I do have a haiku, thanks to you. Sammy Neill's death stare sits deep in his rocking chair. No dinos, don't care.
That's good.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Because there are no dinos.
Yeah, I get it.
Jake?
The camera moves hit, but this bitch is hella lit. I don't get this shit.
Yo,
That's good.
we are three fucking artsy little for this artsy movie. Here's mine. Kind of goes along with yours, Jake. Great use of steady. Tentacle fuck. Get ready. That French girl. She pretty.
Good one.
Right. Is she
Yo,
French? Is
we
that
can
that
end
main-
it there,
main
and
chick? Is Isabelle Adjani, is she French?
Is she not French?
Sounds Frenchish. Yeah, she's French.
I thought she was French.
You got it. You nailed it.
All of her other movies that she's been in are Frenchies.
Where?
She's Algerian and German too, it says.
Born in Paris, France.
Well,
What's interesting about this movie to me is that the director, never made an American feature before or after. He made all his movies in Europe, then he made this movie, and then again, he never made another American movie, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, because this seems this is a very European movie. It just
Of course.
the fact that it's in English. So this is
Yes.
his only English film.
Only one.
English speaking. Okay.
Yeah.
why?
I don't know. I'm not sure. This is a director I'd never heard of until I heard about this movie. And I
Where'd
think the reason why I chose this movie is because who the hell was it? The guy who directed Smile, he is remaking this movie with Robert Pattinson. So I was like, I wonder what that's about. So I went and watched it, and I realized that this movie is considered one of the best horror films ever by a lot of people. It's up there with like The Shining and The Exorcist and The Thing, and I was like, well, I got to find out why. And when I watched it, it's not that it's scary. It's just a fucking mind fuck. It's like I can see where a lot of influence comes from this movie. Like I feel like Ari Aster probably loves this fucking movie so much. I think Beau is Afraid is like another version of this movie in a lot of ways. I think that the acting is so insanely good and bad in the movie that it equals out. It's like there's B movie acting, there's Oscar worthy acting, there's over the top acting, there's not enough acting, and I'm just not quite sure where if that makes it good or bad, but it's definitely interesting. And I think if you like or dislike this movie, it's still something that's worth talking about because what you dislike it for is a good conversation, and what you like it for is a good conversation. And it's like, is this something that should have even been made? Because like what? It's a breakup movie on the it's just I don't know. It's so hard to explain. Like, how would you categorize? It's not a horror movie. It's like I don't know what it would be. What would you categorize
I see what
it
you're
as?
saying. It's not really specific in that because it kind of has like a weird shift in the middle too. For it, like it seems like
Yeah.
it's just this crazy drama, I guess, with
Oh, it's
this
definitely
divorce
dramatic.
situation, and then the second half is definitely a horror movie, like with this fucking monster. Not to, you know, bury the lead here, but like yeah, and a lot of what you
It's
said,
an artsy movie, dude. The dude
it's
was
a
just
very art house
doing
for sure.
fucking.
Sure.
He was just getting wild with it. He was like, "Let's do this," and then how about there's a fucking tentacle fucking here?
Yeah, because it
I
definitely, I agree with like a lot of that, like
Looked like a Bjork music
there's the
video.
bad acting and then there's good acting, and it's like there's a lot of both and a lot of aspects of this movie. What threw me off because it's like even the cinematography's dope. But like,
Cinematography is amazing.
does that also did it
Yeah.
also take away from the pace of the film? Because to me, the movie was almost boring as fuck. Like,
Really?
especially the first time I saw it, because I'm just like, what the fuck? What are they doing? What are they talking? They're like ranting about shit the whole time, and it's like hard to pay attention to the rants because they seem nonsensical. But on the second watch, I'm like, okay, some of this shit matters. Some of it definitely doesn't matter, but some of it, and it's like hard to get what you need to get out of this film because it's so fucking
What
wild.
do you think you need to get out of this film?
I
What
don't
is
know.
there to be
I
got?
don't
What
even.
was the,
I
what's
can't.
the
I can't
message?
fully get the message here. I know there's like weird political shit from like the Cold War era, which doesn't come
Yeah.
across to me because I'm
It's
not.
in
I wasn't-
Berlin.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't in that area. I'm not from there. I don't get it. But I know that's part of it. But it's like still like
I-
I don't know. It was such a fucking weird movie. I can't tell if I like it or not.
That's a good point.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's certainly
I don't
stuck with
like
me
it.
though. I've been like thinking about it since I've seen it a lot, so it's like hard to,
This
definitely affected
movie
me.
is best on mute.
It's a
I
super
can't agree
uncomfortable
with that.
watch for that.
And but see, I like that. I like the uncomfortability of it, and that's why so I've watched this 3 times. First time I watched it, and I think I agree with you, Jake. I was like, "What is happening? Why?" It's so much dialogue about just nothing that progresses that it's hard to understand where it's going. And when it goes to a place, you're like, "Well, that makes no sense of why I would go there." But at the same time, I was very interested in what I was going to see next because I think the visuals were so good, and I really, 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 really loved that girl, the actress. I thought she fucking killed it. I thought she was amazing.
It's
I thought
great.
she was really good. And I think what it's about is a breakup, is two people breaking up. And I like that it starts right away with the opening scene is just this crazy thing where they're just arguing right away and the camera just goes in and it doesn't stop. And I think that's what I did respect about it is that it was just like it was like a fever dream, and that's why I compared it
Yeah.
to Beau is Afraid. You know what I mean? It's just like a fucking movie just about insane things that it's never gonna let up. It's almost like a Gaspar Noé movie, like Climax or fucking Enter the Void, where you're just like, what the fuck is going on? But it's so visually captivating that I was never bored. I would never didn't want to watch it. It's 2 hours long. I don't think a movie of this category needs to be 2 hours long
It's a
per
little over
se,
2 hours, actually.
but
Yeah.
I did like the end. Like I think the last 15 minutes might be the best part of the movie.
When this was originally
I
released
don't
in the
know.
States,
Yeah.
they cut 45 minutes out of it to
God, what
censor
is
it.
that movie
I don't
like?
even
Yeah.
know.
That
That
can't
movie
even,
would make
that must be
like that must be
nonsense.
weird as fuck.
Yeah. I heard
I'm-
that got like horribly panned, right? Like
Had
that was
to.
just like a terrible
Yeah, I
version.
bet they
Yeah.
left a lot out. Not that
Oh,
there
I'm
was,
pretty sure.
not that they're like, oh yeah, that extra 45 minutes really cleared things up for us.
But see, that's the thing. I don't think the point of this movie was to be clear. I don't think this movie was supposed to follow a narrative that you're used to. I don't think that this movie was supposed to make you get into the characters like you're used to because I don't think that's what they're going for. I think they were trying to make something artsy and different and kind of fuck with you, which they did. You know what I mean? And I think it affected people in a lot of way because I don't think anybody expected it. I feel like if I didn't know anything about this movie and someone just turned it on, as weird as it may sound, I think I would have been more into it than I was if I knew about it because I would just be so shocked that this was happening that I would just be like, well, I need to finish this. You know what I mean? That's how I did feel about this movie. Like,
Uh,
even though I didn't like it a little bit, I still needed to see what was going to happen. That's what I think it does well.
I don't
Were
know
you
if I would have
pleased?
finished it if you instead if we weren't doing this for the podcast. I don't know if I would have finished it. I
Really?
may have turned it off like 40 minutes in, but that's
Yeah.
before it kind of enters that horror zone, which I feel like that did pick up a little bit for me
I
because
took
it
it in
was
two
just
settings.
once. Yeah, I did too with my first round. I had to. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I think I got distracted or busy with something, but yeah, I had to do it in two parts, both the first time.
I think this is the type of movie that benefits from a theater watch, and I think it's
I
because
can see
you
that.
don't
Yeah.
have any distractions. If you have your phone or if you have your girl or if you have someone telling you something, you're not going to pay attention, and then you're going to miss what this movie is about, which is just this relationship. You know what I mean? Not that if you miss it, you're going to be confused or the plot's not going to make sense, but you're just going to miss what this movie is, and it's just about these two people. This is if you saw this in the theater, it's definitely the best type of way to say. Or you put your phone in the other room. That's the only way to really get this movie is in a full watch.
I mean, I don't know if the plot ever made sense.
Does that?
I'm
Yeah.
not saying it does.
What is there like? What is there to be lost in this plot?
Well, I don't think there's plot elements to be lost, but I think the point of this movie is seeing these people interact with each other, seeing the
There's a lot of that. You can look down at your phone every now and then and still see plenty.
but you're gonna miss. No, I don't agree with that.
Miss
I mean,
what?
first off, I don't think you should
Christoph.
ever have your phone on during any movie, no matter what. But I mean, that's another conversation.
Write it down.
But I feel like the point of this movie is to see everything that happens, like is to see everything and the way that affects them, because everything that she says affects Sam Neill in a very huge way. Like everything, he overthinks it, he underthinks it, he thinks differently, and a lot of it is like, is any of is any of it even real? Like, is this shit in his head? Is it like, well, I mean, I don't even know. I can't. I couldn't describe to you what this movie was about except for saying that it's about two people breaking up. I don't have any other explanation of what it could be, and that's interesting to me. Like that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but that's at its very, very baseline. What this is the
It's
fact
all it
that
is, right?
Yeah.
Like what else is it about? Is it I guess it's about like a girl is she possessed or is she just so over her relationship that like you're just seeing like that like what is it? You know what I mean? Like what is in your opinion what is it?
I still don't really know.
Yeah.
Like you would it felt sort of like there's obviously going into the movie like you start we kind of get into the plot to break this down a little bit
Yeah,
because it
go for it.
opens simply with her it's the dude Sam Neill arriving from a business trip. He's got
Mhm.
like 3 or 4 suitcases or whatever,
He's a
and she's just kind of
spy.
waiting outside of their building and tells him like she doesn't want to be with him anymore. She doesn't want to be married anymore.
Yeah.
And he's very taken aback by that. It seems very sudden. Like
Hmm.
this is the first thing we see of these two, so we don't really know much backstory. So we're just like, okay, what's going on here? And it's great because it's all in this one wide shot, and it's just them. That's their introduction. It's just a very strange introduction of characters, and then from there, I don't. It just kind of. I mean, that's yeah, right there. That's the start of the movie, and that's what it's about. But it just unravels in such a strange way of these like
Well,
chaotic fights and stuff. And
before we go on, he's a spy, like Anthony said, and I think that adds
right,
to the whole thing of like the Berlin Wall and like being in West Berlin before the wall went down and all that shit. And they never explained what he was doing out there, except for they say it's like an espionage mission. And I think that right there adds to the whole thing of like, oh well, if this guy's a fucking spy and he's always like leaving or doing weird shit, maybe he's just made this chick's life miserable. You know what I mean? Maybe he's not ever home. Maybe he doesn't help take care of the kid. Maybe he fucking just is super distant. Maybe he can't talk to her about anything. So maybe that's the catalyst for why she is the way she
He
right.
is, you
definitely
know?
sucks.
And I think he
Yeah.
thinks that initially too, because then like he has that meeting, like I think it's like the second or third scene, he has a meeting with his people, and he's just
Mhm.
like, look, I can't do another one of these. Like my
Yeah.
family's falling apart. Like I can't do this shit. So like clearly, I think he knows his work does affect his family, but it doesn't
Mhm.
seem he's still taken
What can you
aback by
do?
like
Yeah.
the fuck, like this, what? Like it didn't seem like I don't think he was. He certainly wasn't expecting it to be like that, and she's acting all sorts of wild. So
Yeah. Well,
Pretty
so
crazy.
basically what happens next is he's like, "Yo, is it another dude?" And she says, "No." That's what he thinks it is.
oh yeah, they're
He
laying there in bed after they just fucked too. Like it's also it's
Yeah.
like that. That's very. It's also strange. She's just like fucked and like they're just hovering shot above them, talking about why they're breaking up.
Dude, relationships are fucking weird, dude. They really are. It's like you give your entire life and everything to another person, and it's like you have to adapt in so many fucking ways. It's really insane when you really come to think about it.
Oh, for
Just
sure.
the complexity of it all.
And there's a
Yeah,
couple
dude.
movies
Sometimes you
that
break up and fuck. It's weird.
yeah, no, yeah, facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's other movies like that. Like the tone of like these fight parts remind me of like Revolutionary Road and like A Marriage Story,
Sure,
but those are
sure.
very different movies because they're very
Those are
more
grounded movies.
straight dramas,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what this felt like. Cassavetes making one of those movies at first in a
Mm.
weird way,
Yeah, yeah, I can
but
see that.
not that this is a Cassavetes movie, but
He
it
has
just
made one of those
that
movies actually.
had that tone. Oh, that's right. It was like that. Is it the marriage? The what is that? Woman under the influence?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That and he made a movie called Brothers, I think, or Cousins or something
right.
like
I
that.
saw Woman Under
Yeah.
the Influence, which is it's similar. It's like a slow burn to
Yeah.
like unraveling some crazy shit.
Yeah. But it's about a
Um
woman who's kind of like a little bit going crazy, right? Isn't that what it's about?
yeah, but it
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be that at first, and then it kind of
Okay.
gets there. But yeah, it's super dialogue heavy, which is like very
All
oh
his
this
movies are.
also
Yeah.
is too, but like
Yeah.
but they're different. Like that's a drama, those are dramas. This is because
Whatever this is.
because it still feels horror-ish in the beginning because like the score and the tone and
The
like
visuals.
the yeah that the shot is always it almost it feels ghostly like
Sure.
it's this like
There's always a
weird
lot of headroom. There's always a
hovering
lot of side
camera.
room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Doors that are in frame that aren't filled, that something good. It's like long legs. It's like the way they frame long legs. You always thought something could happen in that frame. Like someone could come in or something could, but nothing ever does. You know what I mean? That was the coolest part
Right.
of that.
And then there was a while where I'm just kind of waiting. I'm like, is this a horror movie? Because I like you were saying, it's like considered one of the best horror movies ever. I always see it on the lists of
Yeah.
like best horror movies ever, and I've
I
never
mean, it's
seen
called
it, and I'm always
Possession.
kind of curious about it. And yeah,
Yeah.
that title, right, exactly. Yeah, that title makes it seem like
I mean, if you
he's
had to
possessed, but I feel
categorize
like
this
that's a
movie,
little different. Yeah.
if you had to categorize this movie, you would call it like a psychological horror, right? That's it.
Yeah.
It has to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. Or even maybe body horror if you want to go that route. But yeah,
I mean,
psychological horror, I'd
100%.
say is probably it.
100%.
That's more so throughout is
100%.
psychological horror.
All right. So basically, after she tells him he wants to break up, he starts slowly going crazy. He gives custody of their son Bob to her, and he goes on a drinking spree. Uh,
Have we met Heinrich yet?
Not yet.
Okay, cool.
How about that scene though in the
That guy.
diner? That was the crazy shot was them like in front of a mirror, and it was like on like the corner seat of a thing, and they're and sitting in front. I
The
don't
use
understand
of
how.
mirrors and reflection
Yeah,
in this movie is fucking on point. It
I
just
was
goes
watching
with the
that scene.
cinematography is just on point.
Right, I was like waiting to see the camera operator in the fucking mirror because I was like, how is he not? How is this happening? That just
you're talking
Because it
about when
was
they're
it
both
was a
sitting.
right angle mirror, so when
yeah.
they were never flush on like straight on to the mirror. It was always at an angle.
Right, that was interesting, and
Very
I
cool.
don't know if that was
Took me
distracting
a
though.
second. I mean,
Because
it just
I was
distracted
almost
me.
like watching what the camera was doing more than me listening to them talking.
It distracted me, but I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
No,
It was
yeah,
an
it was
awesome way
super
to shoot
cool.
a scene. The set design in this was very minimal. I think on purpose, maybe just because it was like Cold War era everything. So like all
Yeah,
the walls were all blank. There was no like art or anything. There was nothing. Basically, just like no, just blank walls everywhere. They were just in empty rooms, which I thought was I don't know. I don't know if I liked it, but I don't know if that was necessary. Necessary?
I
made it
think
feel
that
more ghostly.
exactly. I think that was supposed to be more of like, is any of this actually real? Like, is this a thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is he still on a mission and he's captured and he's just thinking about his family at home and what could be if he goes back? You know what I mean? I think that's the point. Is
I don't
it's
like
just supposed
that.
to be kind of
I
dreamy.
don't like that thought.
I never went in that route in my head, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Never thought about like the is this real kind of thing.
I mean,
But
I
yeah,
think it
that does
is,
make sense.
but
Yeah.
I also think their home life is not very good. So maybe she doesn't give a shit about making it homey. You know what I mean? Like maybe she's over it, and obviously she's over it because she fucking breaks up with him. But anyway, all right. So getting back to the story, uh, actually, I guess we could go with the scene you're talking about when they meet in this diner to after he gives up
The
his
wild
custody and all that
scene.
shit, and he this is where you see his true self because he freaks the fuck out. He starts like
Yeah.
smashing the tables and telling her she's a fucking low life and all this
Throwing
shit. You're like,
chairs
holy
around.
shit. You're like, maybe she is right to fucking do this. You know what I mean? This guy seems like a fucking psycho.
Yeah. Again,
And
all in one take, which is pretty wild. Them like him
yeah,
like being him chasing her through the restaurant as like she's trying to leave and him breaking a bunch of shit and then the whole kitchen staff comes out and like stops him.
yeah, yeah.
Pretty wild spot.
Yeah. So he goes on a bender, fucking starts like going through all these crazy thoughts. You see that he's not a good guy. And then he goes back to the apartment to see what's up and he sees Bob, which is their kid there, all by himself. And he's like got like peanut butter and jelly all over him because his mom hasn't fed him, so he had to like eat it by himself and he's whatever, you know.
Yeah,
He
he's
looks
been
in
there for
the
like weeks, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. She's neglecting him, and he's like, "Where the fuck's your mom?" And she's like, "I don't know." And you come to realize that she's banging some other dude who we meet.
Yeah.
I love this
Not
guy.
to not to get too far ahead, but like that scene where he was like on the bender, that was a
Mhm.
little confusing at first, was it not? Because he was like was
It's
having
all
trouble like
confusing.
talking, and I'm like, is he possessed? And then I realized like, oh, he's just fucking wasted. Like, okay, I
Yeah.
didn't realize what was going on at first.
Well,
Like they
think
just found
about it.
beer bottles on the ground.
That's the
Possession.
thing.
I mean, I think that it is what we think it is, in that like, yeah, she's possessed, like when the shit comes out of her. But like, also, is it also like, was she his possession, and that's how he looked at her? You know,
Right?
like,
Yeah, I
was
think
she
so.
just something that was part of him that he didn't give a shit about, and just looked at her as like, this is mine? You know what I mean? Maybe that's what the title comes from. You know?
I think they purposely did that where it could be
Yeah.
have multiple meanings. I think
Double entendre.
going into it, we clearly think it's like someone simply possessed by a demon or some shit, but it's definitely
But it makes sense because of what
right, and
happens.
certainly like
It's both
more than
ways, you
just
know?
that. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Was she possessed though?
Dude,
no one
She
fucking
just
we
knows.
didn't get to the
she
monster yet, but when
birthed
we
the
do,
slime ball that
well, hold
turned
on.
into Sam too.
Let's
But
hold on. Let's get there and then we'll talk
right,
about then ask that question again because
because he
it's a good
seems
Love to
question.
clip
possessed too
that
at the
out.
end. So
Hey,
it's like
what
yeah,
movie am I
go
talking
ahead.
about? She birthed the slime ball that gave birth to Sam too.
Yeah, Sam too.
So
Obviously,
yeah,
it's
he gets to the
possession,
apartment.
1981.
He gets to the apartment, sees that he's been there with his mom, and then she shows up like out of nowhere, which also made me think like, is this just in his head? Because like she shows up conveniently out of nowhere and like has like bags of groceries and acting like that she just rented the store and has been around. So he tries to make up with her, and then she bounces in like the middle of the night. And then to me, this is where the movie starts getting good. Is when he receives the phone call from Homeboy. I was like, where the fuck is this gonna go? And this is when I was really kind of like
From
starting to
Heinrich.
Yeah, I thought this scene was insane. Like I was just
When
like,
he beats the fuck out of him.
but even before that, it's like being able to hold a conversation with the person who is this person and the person that you are and the person that you both have the relationship with. Like me as a person, I'm not going to be able to do that, to be honest with you. Like we're going to fight. That's going to be the first thing. We're not going to talk at all. We're going to fight. And then after we fight, well,
Yeah,
maybe we'll talk.
they
You know what
they
I mean?
did eventually fight.
Yeah, but it was the
That's
opposite.
yeah, it's such a weird scene. Again, another like crazy good shot
I
because it's
love
them
that
just
scene.
Great
flowing
scene.
through like the whole apartment. There's just one. I think it was all one take again, and it was just like
And
he's such
Heinrich's
a
just
weird.
whooping him.
Oh,
He's
hold
such
on,
a
though.
weird
We
dude.
didn't get there yet, though. So Mark, which is Sam Neill, he receives a call from Anna's
I
lover.
thought they were gonna fuck, dude.
Well, Heinrich,
Yeah.
and he says Anna's with me, and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And she's like, "She's there." And this is where you're like, "What the fuck, man?"
Because she originally said there wasn't anyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then this is another thing when he goes to drop Bob at school the next day, he meets the teacher who is his wife with blue eyes. What the fuck is that about? Like,
Yeah, that was weird.
It's the same chick just with bright ice blue eyes.
Definitely
I mean,
confusing the first watch. I'm like,
yeah.
why is his wife?
Well, I mean,
What?
it's still
What?
confusing. I don't
Oh,
understand
yeah.
what the fuck that is at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Is this some sort of joke? Like, what's going on?" She's like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, You look just like my wife." And she's like, "Oh, I never met your wife."
My wife.
It's like, "All right. What else?" So then Mark, after he drops the kid off at school, then he goes to Heinrich's place, and this is where we go into the Heinrich scene. Someone else talk about this. Anthony seems to love this scene, so Anthony, tell me about this scene.
I don't really remember. Are they talking in the fight?
Yeah. They were just talking and
Well,
he's
the
Heinrich's
way that
kind of
he
been.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry. I would say the way that he comes in and the way that Heinrich is so European, it's insane. He's
Yeah,
like, "Oh
dude.
man, who cares, man?
I fucking
It's just,
love this
it's
guy.
whatever." You know what
He's
I mean?
like,
It's
I'm fucking your wife. Listen,
free
yeah,
love.
we could be
Yeah.
friends. It's fine.
Which to
Right.
me is
Ride my
such a
motorcycle.
crazy idea to actually talk to the person that's doing that with your wife like
You're
they're
not
like
European, dude.
they're just an equal to you. You know what I
They're
mean? It's like, nah,
Europeans.
dude, we're not going to do it like that. At least I wouldn't, unless I didn't care.
You're
Maybe if I'm at a
Europeans.
point
Yeah,
to where
but
they're
you're a
What? I don't
fucking
think
Jersey goon, dude. You don't
Sam
got the
Neill-
you got the emotional intelligence of a spoon.
Sam Neill certainly wasn't
Jersey
cool,
Goo, the mental
with this,
intelligence.
but he had to go talk to him regardless. He's got to confront this guy and or
Sure.
go talk to this guy, see what the
Sure.
fuck's going on with his wife. And then but it's more it's
California
like
gays,
it's
we're gonna go over there and be
cool.
nice to them, dude.
It's cool, man. Free love. We can share if you want, bro. Who cares?
Yeah.
That
And then
attitude. He's like, we
mom's
can
there,
fuck
right?
too, basically. Yeah. Oh, that's right. His mom is just also like living
they
with him, and
kiss?
like
Oh,
she's
yeah,
all cool
he was
about
pissed
it.
about
like,
that. He's like, "Is she here when you guys are fucking?" He's like, "Yeah,
Yeah,
of course, she
she
lives here."
is.
Yeah. It's crazy how different European lifestyle is than American lifestyle. It's like
Dude,
so
Heinrich's the
different.
best.
It's like insane.
And then he was just like, "Everything's gonna be fine." He's like, "Nope, we gotta fight." And Heinrich's like, "All right." Pow.
He's like kicking him and shit.
Yeah, it goes from like they're almost like dancing with each other too. It's fucking shit.
I
And
thought
then
they
it
were
turns
gonna
into a
kiss.
fight.
I thought they were gonna kiss.
They
don't
seem
know.
like they're almost there. Yeah,
yeah.
like it's somewhat. This movie has like such weird, like choreography type situations where it almost feels like dancey at times, especially when
For
like these
sure.
like weird freak out confrontation moments happen. It's so bizarre.
That's why it was like a. Have you ever seen like Dancer in the Dark? Kind of remind me of that. It's like a Bjork thing. Who did
Sure.
Dancer in the
I haven't
Dark
actually
though?
seen that. That was
That's
Larger.
Lars
Or
von
something?
Trier. Lars von Trier.
Lars von Trier. Didn't we do a Lars von Trier? Shout out.
Yeah,
that
we
was
did.
the
House
house.
that
Ugh.
that was such a good movie.
Is that the one where he's just shooting kids and shit?
Yep,
Yeah, that movie's wild.
just Matt Dillon killing people artfully.
Yeah, that was a wild movie.
I'm into that.
So after Mark gets beat up by Heinrich, he goes back home and he beats up Anna, which is fucked up. But like, it's like, all right. She bounces. The next
Is
morning,
that where they're cutting each other with the knife, all emo style?
is that part?
It's them. That's that. Then or the next day. I think it's the
Yeah.
next day. They have
It's one
like
of
the
those.
crazy.
They come
Yeah,
back.
she's like just chopping meat, and he just like
Yeah. Which
what?
by
She
the
like
way, go ahead.
pulls out. That was weird. That was a weird scene.
By the way, their kitchen, weird fucking kitchen. Like, love it, but it's so weird. Every time they're in there, I'm like, this is the weirdest kitchen I've ever seen in my life. So
What was weird
he
about
beats
it?
her. It was just the shape, the size. It was just it was like it's almost like it was like an extra piece of the house that they didn't know what to do with. So they're like, oh, we'll turn it into a fucking what shape was it? It was like I don't even know what you
like a little weird arc
Yeah, it was like a-
closet
it was
sort
like
of
a-
thing.
Yeah, it was like an
Little
arc,
weird,
right? I don't even know what it was
almost
called.
like a hallway.
Yeah,
The
it
like
was weird. I
small
loved it.
little like cubby kind of almost
Yeah, it
little
was
area.
crazy. I love European cities, dude. They're so much cooler than
Europeans.
your American cities.
Shout out to Cubby.
Cubby?
I don't know. I just said it's like a cubby, and then it reminded me of Cubby. So I'm just saying, shout
Oh,
out to Cubby
oh.
is all. Go
Shout out to
on.
Europeans.
Shout out to Berlin. Um, so she
Berlin, never
leaves.
been.
I've been there with you. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
I've never been.
the next day they have another fight, and this is where they cut themselves with the electric knife that she's using to cut the fucking meat.
It's what's
And
hilarious is like she stomps into the house, like comes. Is she there already, or she comes from somewhere? She just
I think
comes from
she's always
somewhere.
coming in with a bag
Yeah,
of
with a
food.
bag of shit. And
Yeah.
like the argument immediately starts. He's following her
Yeah.
around like a little puppy dog. She goes into the kitchen, just for immediately just plugs in an electric knife and just starts fucking chopping meat up. We're like, what?
Yeah.
You gonna have an argument? Or you gotta chop meat up? Like, is Bob hungry or something?
Both.
Bob's your uncle. Then she tries to kill herself.
Yeah, she cuts
What a
herself.
ouch, ouch, kabibo.
Yeah.
And
Doesn't
the
that seem
sound
like it would
design
hurt?
of these parts are so fucking like uncomfortable. There's just
And
there's
it's her
just
throat
the
too.
saw sound.
Yeah,
There's like
she's going
fucking
for the
yelling.
jud.
Yeah, I mean she doesn't go too deep, but yeah, it is like a weird place. She's just like I'm gonna cut my throat. Like what the fuck? And then
I
he
think
cuts his
it's a
arm.
warning.
Why does he cut his arm? That fucking confused me.
Because
I'm like,
he's a
what the
little
fuck?
emo, dude. He was listening to My Chemical Romance.
They're like, if your girl cuts herself, you gonna cut yourself too.
I could do it too.
Okay,
Maybe
interesting.
it's because he doesn't, none of this is happening and he only cut himself.
Maybe.
So after this, Mark hires a private investigator to follow Anna, and the private investigator finds her second apartment in like a beat up apartment building. And
In the
this is
bad
where the
part of town.
investigator goes in to find the fucking creature. It's the first time we see the creature. And how would you describe this creature, guys?
Alien slime.
Tentacle dick monster?
Yeah.
Alien
The first
slime
time we
ball?
see it, I wasn't sure what was. I thought that was just like a dead body for some
Mm.
reason. I didn't
It's all
really make
bloody.
a connection until we saw it again, and I'm like, oh, that's what that thing was.
See its
I just
eyes.
thought
like
it
a
was
little
like,
shark.
yeah, it's just covered in blood, little weird.
The eye placement, though, of where it
Yeah.
is, it looks like a dick.
Well, dicks don't have eyes, so that's
No, I know,
confusing.
but the head of the thing where the eyes are, it's kind of like a dickhead,
That
you
looked
know?
like almost like a shark head to me in a weird way. Like
Oh,
a
yeah,
weird, like a
okay.
Alien-esque
fish like, yeah, or alien, like alien
Yeah.
fish like, squid
fish
like.
alien.
I mean, definitely squid-like. It had
Yeah,
fucking
'cause it was
Like
tentacles.
a full
yeah, and then
alien.
like, but the yeah, where the eyes were, they were like kind of wide and kind of like just beady, like almost like a squid would be.
Yeah, like on the other side. Yeah,
Part squids,
Yeah,
part
like Anya
human,
too.
blood and cum.
she does have those eyes.
Anya Joy's got fucking.
She does
got
have those
prey eyes, dude. She's got one on
Yeah.
either side, so she can see
Yeah.
the predators coming.
I read that when this director made a movie called Devils a couple years before this, and it was like the movie that got him noticed by like American companies and shit like that. And I guess that's why they approached him. They're like, "Hey, what would you want to make next?" And he's like, "I want to make a movie about two people breaking up, and the wife bangs a tentacle monster." And they were like, "All right, let's do it." I mean, like, cool.
No one was like, what? Say, can you say that again?
I think because of the movie he made before it, the Devils movie, it was in the same vein of the craziness. And like I said, I've never seen
Okay.
it, but I think they were looking for that. I think they were looking for a European, because in the 80s there was a lot of slashers, there was a lot of like B movie horror, and it was very violent. And I think they were looking for an artistic version of that. You know what I mean?
This was like a giallo film as well.
100%.
Very like very sexual, very like just
bloody.
artsy and but like dialogue driven and
Yeah.
yeah,
Camera moving all the time.
kind of fucking mysterious. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it lacks a little bit of the heightened Tarantinoism of a giallo film and the humor, but yes, it's a lot like that.
You're just funny how many things you compare to Tarantino.
Dude, Tarantino steals from everybody, so it's like
Right, yeah.
and his movies are what we grew up on. So even if it's
The-
not his,
The
I go
idea,
to him,
the
you know
idea
what I mean?
of giallo films being Tarantino-esque is just almost jarring to me because obviously
Well-
they predate Tarantino. It's just funny that you would say that, but I know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing. It's just funny that
The
you
way that
say
Tarantino
that.
uses music and violence
Silly.
and
Silly as
camera
hell.
work is influenced a lot by Dario Argento. Like there's no doubt. There's no fucking doubt.
I
Okay.
okay.
So
Jesus.
he finds the creature in the bathroom, and then Homegirl kills him with a fucking bottle.
Yeah, slices
It's
him,
true, like,
swipes
all
him.
right, yeah. And
But
then
also there's like the crazy blood milk mixture of ooze that's on all over the bed, and she's like, "We fucked all night," so he's
Yeah,
tired.
that's not to the next thing. That's not to like the other dude comes. But
Nah,
yes.
dude. Oh,
That
okay.
well,
Well,
that
this
happens
the
right here.
first
Heinrich, right? Is that
no,
Heinrich?
that's like the dude's partner. Like the dude's partner comes and
Yeah,
like checks on him after this dude gets murdered because this thing's like hiding in the closet or some shit or in the bathroom
yeah,
closet or some shit.
yeah.
And then she murders him, and because it's like kind of like upright in the corner. And then the dude fucking
Comes and checks on him.
goes to Mark slash Sam Neill. He's like, "Yo, where's my dude? Like, you hired him. We have an address, so I gotta go. Now I gotta go check it out." And then he goes to check it out, and then she's just like
She shoots him.
talking about nonsense. And then he goes and checks and she's like, "He's in there." And then his dead body's in the corner, and then the fucking tentacle monster's now laying on the bed, blood and cum dripping everywhere from the floor into the
Yeah, I
next
hate it
room.
when that happens.
She's like mopping the floor too when like he walks in. So I got to imagine there's a lot more blood and cum everywhere than we saw. Just imagine all that blood and cum. Or was that milk? I don't know. I
I don't
imagine
know. There's a lot of like milky substances in this movie.
yeah.
I'm not sure I liked it.
Bodily fluids is
A lot of
just
bodily,
overall
milky
bodily
substances,
fluids.
seminal fluids.
It just sounds. You know what's funny? Like talking about it sounds grosser than seeing it. Seminal body fluids.
It's
shit.
fucking.
Like,
it
ugh.
was gross.
Yeah,
It was
it's
equally
totally
as gross to see it.
Yeah. So
And then
she takes
kills
his
that guy.
gun and shoots him. He's dead.
He
Yep.
did.
Anna continues
Anakin.
her crazy behavior, and she tells him about how she had a miscarriage. She suffered in a subway while he was gone, and she claims that like that's why she is kind of crazy right now because he wasn't around to
And this is the
experience that.
craziest rant ever.
I mean, we
Let's
that,
just
don't we?
and then it jumps to the yeah, then it cuts to like that. And I guess yeah, that subway scene of her fucking flailing around is like a flashback to how
Dude,
how
that's
that
what won her
fucking
the
little
award.
fucking goo monster got made.
Movie sucked.
Yeah, it's like I want to say I liked it, but it's also like there was a lot of confliction in me about this movie.
I think it's a well-made movie, and it definitely did what it set out to do, but it's hard to follow. It's a little long, but I'm not going to say it was bad. You know what I mean? Will I ever watch it again? Absolutely not.
It
But
was
I
super hard to watch. Yeah,
I would, but if somebody who hasn't seen it asked me if they should watch it, I would say yes. I was like, well, yeah, watch this. Yeah, at least watch it one time. You know what I mean? You're probably not going to watch it ever again, but at least you saw it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like kids. I'm not going to watch that movie ever again, but I saw it.
I
Let's
almost feel
talk
like my
about. Oh, go
second
ahead.
viewing was a little bit better because it was like I kind of knew what I was getting into. That makes sense
Sure.
probably because the first time I'm just like, what the fuck? I mean, not that there wasn't a lot of what the fuck, and the
Yeah.
second time through, but it was like at least I kind of knew what was coming, and it helped a little bit, like guiding of the process. But it was still, what the fuck is this?
But what a scene, that scene in the fucking where she's flailing around and the blood and cum's coming out of her and she's like
Yeah,
that was
No, well,
wild.
she's flailing around for a good 10 minutes, and then she
throwing
sits
milk
down, and the
everywhere.
blood come out.
Yeah. But the way it comes
Lot
out
of
and the way it's
flailing.
like
More
poured on the
milk.
floor, it's like, ugh.
She's like slams milk on the wall immediately,
Yeah. Yeah, she slams the bag full of milk on the wall. You're right. That's the first thing that happens.
We
and
missed
then
the line where someone said, "Come in with the milk," and then
Coming with
she's
the
just like, "Here's the milk. Fuck you. Here's the milk. You want fucking milk? Here's milk."
a little artsy.
Yeah.
But that was especially dancey in that one.
It's just like
Yeah.
Weird dance,
What are we
flailing.
watching
Ah,
here,
great
boys?
dancing. Yeah.
2 thumbs down.
So after that scene, Heinrich goes to visit her at her secret apartment and he discovers the creature in the bedroom and a bunch of dismembered body parts in her fridge. And she attacks him and he bounces. He calls Mark and he discovers the body parts, but there's no creature. Mark meets Heinrich at the bar where he kills him, but as an accident. Like, what is going on? Like, what is happening?
Yeah, when he starts killing people too, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Now, are they both possessed or whatever? Or is he just trying to help Anna because he still loves her?
All right, I'm going to say this here. I don't think either of them are possessed. I don't think there's a demon. I don't think that it's satanic. I think that they just hate, they've made each other so crazy that it's just this is what's come of it. Like I don't think she really oozed that shit. I don't think any of it's real. I think it's just like in their head. I think all of this is just in their head. To be honest with you, that's my take from it.
Toxic relationship.
Toxic relationship, exactly.
Yeah.
At the
Jesus.
heart of this
This
is just
is,
a movie about a shitty relationship.
That's just the little fucking goo monster is just like a
What about the
symbolic
goo
of
monster?
I think the
fucking
goo monster is
symbolic
represents
of the relationship, I guess.
Yeah,
Like what
yeah.
like the physical But then it becomes Mark, which is another thing. Is that what? I don't. That's where it all fucking.
Well,
I don't know.
both of them die,
Right? And then they have
right?
doppelgangers. Yeah.
They both
Yeah.
die, and then their doppelgangers take over, and then that's who's living life. That last scene was pretty fucking terrifying.
Oh
Of him
God,
like
yeah.
on the other side of the door, being all creepy. Like I was Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Don't answer the door! Don't answer the door! Don't answer the door!"
Yeah.
Well, we're not. Yeah. So we're not.
Keep
Yeah.
going
Let's
though.
go.
Yeah.
Where's
So Heinrich
Little
kills
bears.
Heinrich gets killed, and he sets Anna's apartment on fire before
Blows it up.
bouncing on Heinrich's motorcycle. And he goes back, and he sees
Where's
Anna's
Bob at this
friend.
point?
What'd you say?
Where's Bob?
But that's the thing. Bob is never around unless you need him
Forget
to
about
be.
Bob.
So it's like,
No, Bob's
is...
at the teacher's house.
they all forgot about Bob?
Oh
They
yeah,
left-
you're right.
No, the teacher was
took her
randomly babysitting him. I think
Yeah,
the
yeah.
teacher would come by and randomly babysit, which was another confusing part.
And
the
then
first
he
viewing.
was
I'm
over
like,
there. I think
why
toward
is she cool
at
now?
the end, he brought the to the teacher, and he left her there.
Right.
He
Okay.
left him there.
Okay. I don't remember. Yeah, I didn't remember him being that. But yeah, either way.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that's
he's
how the
with the,
whole
he's with
movie
the
ends.
teacher. Yeah.
At her at her house.
The good Anna, Helen.
Yeah.
So he goes to Anna's in his apartment where her friend Margie comes out and she's bleeding from like knife wounds. She dies. And you're like, all right. He drags the body inside and Anna's there and then they fuck in the kitchen. All right. What's that?
Pretty cool.
They make
Classic.
plans to cover up the death. And then this is where it gets even crazier. He after that he comes in and she's banging the fucking tentacle octopus monster. And he's like, "What the fuck?" I think the tentacle octopus monster is Sam Neill. I just think Sam Neill sees it as something else, to be honest. You know what I mean? That's my opinion.
I mean, it becomes him in a way. So
Yeah.
which I still fucking don't fully understand, but all right.
He looks a lot like Mark Hamill, young Sam Neill.
Sam Neill? Yeah, a little bit. I can see that.
To me, like, his blue eyes reminded me of, and like
Handsome
facially it
man.
reminded me of the dude in Clockwork Orange, Malcolm.
Malcolm McDowell. Yeah, I can see that too.
Kind of reminded me of that a little bit,
Yeah.
like a young version. But yeah, go on.
Okay, so she's banging the fucking creature. What else happens? Then
There's like that crazy like car
well, Heinrich's
chase
mom
that already
calls
that already
looking
kinda
for her
happened.
kid.
Yeah.
Have you seen Heinrich?
And when he goes to meet her, she's takes
Oh,
all those
yeah.
pills and commits suicide because he
Yeah.
tells her what happened, or she just do. I remember.
I think she just does that.
Like, why?
I don't fucking understand. But then he like, I thought he was like gonna kill her, and then she just does that. And then he doesn't he kind of get rid of her body either way.
I
Doesn't he
don't
take
think
the
so.
body? Or that's someone else's body. That's the girl's body. Sorry, because there's that body in the car. I forgot that's the friend's body.
That like falls out of the back of the car when he's leaving.
Yeah, because then he has like that crazy. It just gets wild because then he's like crashing his
Gets wild.
motorcycle, like shootout with police.
Okay, so yeah, so the next day,
Like-
Mark is on the streets, and his former spy friends are like, "Come on, bro, come back! You gotta come back with us." And he flees them, and he sees that Margie's apartment is surrounded by police because he killed her, and they're looking for him now. And he stages some sort of distraction, and he sneaks away in the car, but he gets shot. Right, he gets shot in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He runs away and they fucking.
Oh yeah,
they
he
all shoot
flees
him.
on a motorbike, right?
I think he gets
No,
shot, then
he's
he
gonna-
flees on a
then he gets,
motorbike.
like-
Yeah, and then he crashes it. And
Yeah.
so he's like all fucked up, like he's like bloody from the bike and from being shot.
And then he
runs
just runs into a building where he's being chased by Anna now.
Yeah. And where I don't understand where she came from, or it was that, and I wasn't sure, was that her building or that wasn't her building, right?
No,
'Cause
he
it was
went to
on
her building,
fire
yeah.
at that point, or that
No,
was
well,
her building.
her second building where she had the sneaky links was on fire. He set that one on fire. Her sneaky link building was where it's set on fire.
How many apartments does this bitch have?
2.
Okay, so
Two.
this is their house.
This is their house. Yes.
okay.
Yes.
That's where I'm like, where are they
Yeah.
at this point?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
At the end?
No,
Yeah.
no. Well,
With the staircase situation where he's like dying on the staircase, and then
yes.
the police shoot him up, and then like
Oh
just
yeah, that was a 6 scene when they're all just
And then-
shoot upstairs.
So this is where you see that the tentacle alien fuck buddy became Sam Neill 2.0 with
Yeah.
different eyes, and you're
Yeah,
like,
different color eyes.
oh,
Same 2
okay.
times.
And that
And-
sort of explains the Helen thing with the other chick looking like his wife with different color eyes, but it doesn't at
How
the
does
same
it explain
time.
anything? How does it explain
Well,
that?
it explains it in that she already went through this transition and now
Right.
she is new Helen. And it's almost like,
Oh.
all right, she's broke out of this this relationship and she's moved on, and now Sam Neill's got to do the same thing. All right,
What?
I don't know.
But then they
I
meet each
think
other, and they're gonna be just as toxic with each other.
are they?
Dopplies.
Is it doppelganger toxicity or what?
The kid knows. The kid said, "Don't let him in."
Oh God, the kid kills himself. Kid goes and drowns himself in the fucking tub.
Yeah, what was up with that?
He was afraid, dude. He's seen the true colors,
You guys want to
dude.
deal with that bullshit again with two new parents that look the same but are crazier? Maybe they're not
Yeah.
crazier. Maybe they're the
Yo,
better versions. Why
fuck
he
this
should he should have
movie.
sent it out. Yeah, why is it? I think the fact that it ends with a little kid killing himself is pretty cool.
It's wild.
I
I
just
mean, it's this is the
yeah.
thing about this movie. Like it or hate it, it's polarizing, and that's what makes it good. You know what I mean? You're not if you're lukewarm about it, then you haven't done a
How
good
does this
job. You
movie
know?
end? Well, the kid's at the teacher's house. The dad comes, but he's a doppelganger dad, and he is at the door. And the mom and
Oh,
the kid says, "Don't answer the door." And
right.
the teacher goes and answers the door anyway. And as she's going to the door, the kid runs upstairs and drowns himself in a bathtub.
Yeah, I don't mean to laugh, but I when it happened, I laughed. I was like, wait, what is
And then
going on?
bombs go off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
then a war
that was
starts,
cool.
which is
Yeah,
which was kind of strange.
yeah, but
But I
it's
mean,
like
and then that's what I'm like, oh, they're trying to say something about society. Oh, and then I had to think about it. And
I mean, this movie
then I
definitely
started
has
getting
a
it.
lot more underneath than what it is. What it is, I'm not sure, but I guess you have to ask the director. But yeah, it
But
definitely
yeah,
is
I think the
definitely not
division
just
of the marriage is something about Berlin being split by the wall and all that
yeah,
sort of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
And I think there was that whole mirror scene in the beginning and something to do with it. And I don't know. It's like I don't. And again, I don't get it because I don't really understand the politics of what was going on at that time.
New
So
versus old.
that shit was lost on me a
This is a
bit.
Germans.
But it was
Doppelganger, which
clearly they
has
were
to be
trying
a
to go
German name,
in
a
that
German word.
direction. True. Have
Doppelganger.
you guys ever seen the movie Significant Other? It came out a couple years ago on Paramount with Micah Monroe. Just curious.
The
No.
chick from
The long legs and It Follows.
no,
Yeah.
no.
It weirdly, now that I think about it, really weirdly reminds me of this movie in certain ways. But
Okay.
it's like a couple going camping, but it's super similar in a lot of ways. So I don't know, just something to think about, something to check out. If you want to check
I
that
mean,
out.
they're remaking this, so that'll be interesting to
Yeah.
see how that goes.
Yeah.
Robbie
I mean,
Pat's playing Sam Neill.
yeah. I mean,
Batman
Robbie
playing
Patch
Sam
is
Neill.
good.
Yeah, it'll be
Is
interesting to
this
see who they pick the female part to be. That'll be really
right?
cool.
Movie
That's obviously the
also
crazier part.
this movie also kind of reminded me of like the Safdie brothers and even like Sean Baker in ways of those like long like kind of follow shots,
Well,
just
that's why I said in the
letting 'em
beginning.
linger and shit. Yeah,
That's why I said in the beginning. This movie's pretty influential, I think, on cinema. I really
I
do.
think
I
so.
think
Yeah.
a lot of it is influential.
I think visually, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said, this movie's best on mute.
I can't agree with that. I like the soundtrack. I think the soundtrack added a lot to it.
Yeah, put the music on.
I remember like Justin coming in the room and like, what the fuck are you watching? He's probably like in his room, like hearing screaming for fucking 2 hours straight.
Jillian
Going
walked
on.
in at one part, and it was the tentacle fuck scene.
Nice.
I was like, I gotta watch this movie, and it was like a lot of screaming, and then she comes out, and she like, I was like, oh, she's coming out right now. This is gonna be genius, and I was like, hopefully this goes on too long, like most things do in this movie. And she walked out, and she looked at it, and I go, yep, that's what I'm watching. She goes, all right, cool, and then she goes back to her room and closes her door and left.
Was she like Schwartz pick? And you're like, yeah.
She's 100%. She said she gives it a 0 out of 10
Why? She didn't even watch it.
based on
That's
what
fucking.
she's seen.
That's erroneous at this point.
You're erroneous. Did you ever call
She
my
is-
wife erroneous?
I object. Objection, Your Honor.
All right. What else? What else we got to say about this movie?
Let's rate it.
We
All
got
right.
it, bro.
Oh, damn, you already did rate it.
We got
We
another
did
one.
homework.
All right. I'll go 7.5.
That's acting.
Yep.
Don't
Seven
forget,
for
this is an
acting.
audio
Sorry. Yeah,
podcast,
acting
so we
performance
gotta announce what we're doing.
7.5.
Jake gave it a 8.
Going
You want-
8. I think it was very good, but it could have been higher, and it could have been, I don't know. I'm not sure if they were good sometimes or not, but a lot
Acting
of it they were
was-
great.
Acting along with cinematography, I think, are the two best.
Yeah, those are my high
Because-
scores.
Whatever they were acting their pants off, whether you liked it or not. And that was the first time I ever heard of her, and I thought she was great.
Yeah, her especially stood out to me.
Plot development.
So the fact that
Yeah.
nothing really happens, but the way the way they deliver it is pretty interesting. I'm gonna give it a 7.
I mean, it did make me think because things did happen, Jake.
Yeah. So I think that
I gave it a
that-
6 because it
Yeah.
wasn't great because there wasn't much plot, but what they did have was certainly
was interesting.
ramped up the whole time and
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, all right, there's something wild about this and
Yeah.
audacious about this fucking idea. So I'll
The
give it
plot
a
did
little bit more than
develop.
give it
Yeah.
nothing. Like 5 is kind of my spot of like this is bad, and I gave it a 6 because it's like it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great, but it was
I'll
something,
bump
certainly
mine up
something.
to 5.5 because,
Yeah.
the plot did develop.
Cinematography, I'm gonna give a fat 9.
Word. I gave it a fat 8. So I think
I think
again, like
that
it could have been some of it may have taken away from it, but it was also great.
I think some of the things they came up with though in this movie to do in places in order for it to be effective more than it normally would be was pretty on point.
Yeah.
I'll bump mine up to 8 too.
Yeah, and it kind of put you in a certain mindset of like
100%.
it was like delirious. It made you like delirious. It was
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
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 Never
Soundtrack
stopped.
and music
Never stopped.
soundtrack and musical score. I'm gonna give that a 7.
I went 7. I like that synthy shit they did.
Me too. Me
And
too.
the sound design, I don't know if sound design is part of this, but it feels like it should be. That was just also very uncomfortable, so they did a good job with what they were setting out to do.
I agree. I mean, I think this is an 8. I think that guy did exactly what he set out to do, exactly how he wanted to do it, and he did it well.
Well, Anthony didn't. Did you when he feel?
Oh my God, 4.5. What a
No,
what a
Anthony
hater.
didn't comment on music or soundtrack.
Oh,
I
sorry,
I just
sorry.
want to cut him off. If you had anything to say, you gave it a 5.
I gave it a 5.
Any
And
comments?
yes, I gave the next one a 4.5 because, yeah,
That's
do
crazy.
what you want. That doesn't make it great.
But it doesn't make it bad because it's different and you don't think it's normal. You know what I mean? You're hating on it because it's different to you and that you didn't think the different is good, but it's
No,
still the
I didn't like it.
Okay.
Mine was a 7.5 here, kind of middle ground, because it's like they did a great job with like the direction of like acting and camera, but pacing was the one thing that really hurt in this movie for me.
I got a question about your number system. If 7 is middle ground, you're I don't understand that. I think if you get a 7, you're doing really good.
No, so like
Oh,
5 is
God.
kind of bad, and how bad is it? Is like if it's really bad, then it gets worse, and then
I feel like
if
we
it's
all have
a
our
little
own.
bit better, it's 6 and up. It's kind of like school grading. We've talked to you about the school grading system
We
about 100 fucking
we kind of
times.
have our
I
own.
know, but
And
We
like
kind of have our own
a
system.
5 or a 50% is a F. That's a fail. You failed. But
sure.
how much you failed, then that'll go in the other direction of the 4s and the 3s and the 2s. And then like 6 isn't great, but it's not terrible.
That's the weirdest way to rate a movie, though.
That's how literally school works.
Yeah,
But
but this isn't fucking school. You're not getting graded on grades. You're not getting graded on work you're doing.
isn't that what this is? It's that's
No,
exactly what this is. It's
it's not.
how they did their work, and I'm grading their work.
But it's
You can
sure. All right, fine. I don't matter.
interpret your own score as you will, but
Yeah, it
to
don't
me,
matter.
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, we all have our own ways.
I mean, in my opinion, an F in a movie would be like a 2 or a 3.
Okay,
That's
again,
just
like
like your opinion, man.
that's
What do you
just you
give
All right,
and your thoughts
production
and
design and visual effects.
effects?
7 works. Yeah, it was good. It definitely set a tone and put you in a time and place that is very convincing and realistic.
yeah. Let's
Even
say
though the movie's not realistic anyway, it felt real where they were. Where they were felt pretty real.
Yeah, the production design was cool, like the vacancy of it all, and the
Yeah,
visual effects. There wasn't visual effect other than the fucking weird goo monster, and
but it
that
was
was
good. It was
Yeah.
cool.
cool, I
It was
guess.
cool.
And the
Yeah.
fuck scene was crazy, dude.
All right, no, yeah,
That
not,
thing
yeah.
was
I guess there
thrusting.
was definitely visual effects on that part.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought the fuck scene would be a little bit more graphic than it ended up being. It was pretty tame. I mean, it was gross, but it was tame compared to what could have happened. You know what I mean?
I know she just
Just
keeps
the
saying
fact
like
that it was
it
fucking her.
fucked. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
true.
fucked my brains out all last night.
Yeah,
It was like whatever she said. Like she multiple time referenced fucking it a bunch.
yeah.
Originality
Good for
and
her.
creativity.
I'm gonna go 8.
Whoops. Oh, shit.
That was a 7. And,
7?
yeah.
Yeah, we all gave it a 7 on that one.
Yeah. Original creative. I go 7.5.
8, 7,
Interesting
5, I gave it
idea.
7, 7. Yeah, we're all around the same on that one.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that it is pretty original and pretty creative.
Pacing and overall flow. Yeah, I guess this is the. I'll
Yeah,
go
Anthony and I
5.
have 4s. Yeah.
I'll go 5. Yeah.
It's just kind of.
I mean, but overall flow, I think for what it was supposed to be, it was good. It was long. And sometimes I think the point of the pacing though was to do what it did, which is to make it seem like you don't never really know where you are, you know? Like it's supposed to be like, where are we? Why are we here? Where are we now? You know what?
Right.
Make mine a 7 for that reason. I think
It's
they did a
meant to
good job with
be.
that.
It's meant to be confusing. It's meant
Yes,
to
so I'll give it
be
7. They killed it with that.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, if it did what it achieved, but I didn't like. I feel like it just never it never like had me locked in. I just was
Sure.
always like felt like I wanted to do something else because I was
Sure.
kind of bored. So 4.
Emotional
Likewise.
impact and resonance. I don't think this movie really what it showed me is gonna resonate with me because of what it represents, but visually, like all right, visually though, and everything, it's definitely something I'll think about for a while. And I've seen the scene in the subway where she freaks out before on YouTube because I've heard of this movie, so I wasn't surprised by that. But I never saw the monster before, and I never saw a lot of things. So I'm gonna go 7.
I just did 6 because it was a fucking mind fuck, and the mind fuck kind of stuck with me and resonated. But other than
Yeah.
that, I wasn't really
you're
like
right, you're
emotionally
right, you're
connected at
right.
all with it.
I will remember this movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
So there was resonance in that sense.
Yep.
All right. I'm bumping mine from a 3 to an 8.
Whoa.
Wow, that's the biggest jump ever. I like that.
Ba-ba-da-ba.
Because you-
Cultural. What'd you say?
Cultural or societal relevance.
Yeah,
Well,
well, for emotional impact, for me, that's like whether you like it or not. So I think it's got to be a big score.
true.
Should
No,
be
I
a
agree. No, I
1
like
should
that.
be a
I like
1
that.
or a
I
10,
like that
really.
you changed so much. You didn't go from like a 3 to a 5. You went a 3 to a fucking 8. That's a big change.
Big change.
Cultural or societal
They
relevance.
call me Big Change Tony.
I think there was a lot of underlying messages in this movie that were supposed to, like Jake said, represent what it's like to be in Berlin and live in a war-torn country. I wasn't alive in '81, and I didn't experience that, so I don't know if it's going to resonate with me so much. I guess as a person, I can understand what that would. I actually can't understand because I've never lived in a country at war, what that would be like. But I think it was set out to say something, and I think to certain people it did. So I'm going to go 6.
What do you think those certain people were looking for it to say, and what did it say?
I don't think they were looking for it to say anything. I think he made a movie about relationships and countries, your dedication to your country and the way that you get treated by your country, and he disguised it in a body horror movie.
Yeah, and also that whole division within Berlin, there was
Yeah.
that. I think there's a lot of symbolism. And so I'm going to bump mine up to a 6. I had a 5 because originally it just doesn't come across to me, unfortunately. It's just something I kind of had to like learn about through other things, and then there was like a little bit more thought put into it. So yeah, it was good, but it wasn't still like it didn't hit me, it didn't affect me, but it was still they clearly were doing something about society in this film.
All right. I have a 4.1, but for the sake of Satan himself, I will bump mine to a 6. 6 is all right.
Nice.
All right. Overall scores, baby. Schwartz gave it a 7.35, which in his head may as well be a 10. Jake gave it a 6.7. And mine literally went from like a 4 to 6.26 because, I ain't going to hate on it because I didn't like it that much, but I did think it was a piece of shit.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy watching it. I definitely
What did this
didn't
get?
like
Sorry.
watching it, but it was a cool movie. I wanted to like it more. I definitely wanted to like it more.
What is this rated on Tomatoes? I never looked at that. People probably hate this movie.
No, I think it's pretty good. I think it's like an 85. I know on IMDb it's a 7.3, so that's pretty good.
Okay, so that's what I rated it.
Yeah, that's true.
You're a sheeple, dude.
Well, no, it's just. I mean, I think the things that I liked, they liked. Damn, 85. Holy shit.
Yeah, it's Mama's
Good for these people.
Why is this so highly rated? That's the question we should be having. What makes this movie so highly rated?
It's just different. And the best thing about film is when you see something you've never seen before. There's so many things that you can't get back again after you see them in something else, and you're always going to compare them to something else. Like maybe they just compare it to this all the time. I mean, like I saw this and that. I saw this and that. It's just it's the audacity of it. You know what I mean? You're being different. You're being different and doing something that people don't usually do. That's if you pull that off, it's applauded because it's an accomplishment.
Yeah,
Just
certainly unique. And it's still like I think the acting and the cinematography, like we were saying, like those two things stand out. And if anything, it's like that had to score something.
Isabelle Adjani fucking killed it.
It's a bunch of snobs, dude. It's a bunch of these people.
Yeah.
In what way though? What do you mean? You think it's too artsy? You mean it's too artsy fartsy?
Yeah.
It's definitely.
Yeah. Well, you're that kind of guy though, man. You're not an artsy fartsy guy, you know?
Dude,
That's
look at how
fine.
I'm dressed right now.
Yeah, but you're doing that to goof. You're new hat goofing.
This ain't new hat. This is old hat goofing, dude.
New hat to the podcast goofing.
Yeah. NH to the PH goofing.
You know what I mean? Like I've heard this movie mentioned with The Shining, The Thing, The Exorcist as like movies that are always like considered the great horror movies. You know what I mean? Like,
do you agree with that though? Because I'm not sure if I fully agree, but I guess I can kind of get why it's in the conversation sometimes. But
I think it's like tail end of those movies.
Yeah.
It's definitely bottom of those lists.
like it'll never make my favorites list.
If this came out
So if
today,
you were-
people would hate it.
well,
It
it's
wouldn't
about
be-
to. It's coming out. They're remake. I told you they're remaking.
I'm saying if they what not a remake. A remake's gonna have a built-in audience already. So if they
I see what you're saying.
if it
Well,
this
he
came out today, people would just be like, "What the fuck was that?" It would not have an 85 on the thermometer.
I don't. I mean, you say that. I don't know though. Like, you know
That's
what I mean?
for fact, dude.
Say it's not, but
Fact,
maybe.
like, look the way I'm
The thing
dressed
that
right
he
now.
said he's doing, the director, because I listened to him talk about it because I was interested in it. He said that he's gonna make this one look tame. He's like, we're gonna go even crazier. So that's fun.
What does that even mean?
That's
We'll
weird.
see. We'll
I'm
see.
curious.
They
if
better
like,
they better do something.
how similar, because are they going to shoot it the same? Is it going to be the same kind of like camera work? I'm just curious.
I think you have to keep that. I think that's what makes this movie this movie. Otherwise, what's the point of remaking it? You know, if you're not going to shoot it like this, there's no point in fucking
the story's
we
still
should
crazy.
probably
But
can this podcast wait till the new one comes out and then talk about it.
Why?
you said it's the Smile
Like compare
guy?
them, you mean? Like compare
Yeah.
and contrast?
Oh,
Yeah, it's the dude who made Smile. Parker Finn's his name.
Okay. I feel like
When
the
does it come
Smiles are
out?
kind of overrated too, but they're not
I
bad, but
have
they're
never
overrated.
seen them because they look like movies that I would not enjoy. But
I thought
yeah.
the first one was surprised me that it was better than I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't great. And then the second one I did not like that much, and I think it's super overrated. And
I've heard the second one was good. So
that's
yeah,
just my opinion.
yeah.
I didn't really like it that much.
My mom said the same thing. She's like, I
don't
really liked
like
the
your
first one,
opinion that
but I didn't like
much.
the second one.
Yeah, the second one's about some fucking dumb cunt pop star that's like, oh,
Yes,
it's you gotta, oh, cool, I'm gonna relate to a DCPS. No, I'm not.
we're still
Like,
rolling.
fuck that. No, yeah, DCPS. Yeah, I guess we can wrap up this shit.
Cut that.
Got any? I don't care. That's a fine word. I don't care.
All right,
Um,
I'm into that. It's
Parker Finn.
you're talking about a fictional character.
To answer your
Exactly.
question though that you asked before, do I consider this one of the best horror movies of all time?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't think it's as good as The Shining. I don't think it's as good as The Thing. I don't think it's good as The Exorcist. So, but it's not because it's not made as well. It's just because to me it's not as interesting as those movies. But I mean, if I was going to make a list of 50 horror movies that are the best horror movies, it would definitely be in it.
50, maybe. 20, probably not.
I
20.
can see.
If
But I
made
think
it-
of 19 other horror movies that are, and this is the thing. Don't think of horror movies that you like, but that are overall better. Like, you got to think about it. You may not enjoy this movie as much as the movie, but if you were to be like, this is a better movie, it was made better. It's you know what I mean? It says something a little more.
I mean,
you know
I
what
don't know.
mean?
Then you can say this was better made than Halloween, and Halloween will always be the best horror movie to me. But like from a cinematography standpoint, this was better than Halloween. This was
I
probably
mean, but
more-
was it? Because Halloween
well acted than
revolutionized
Halloween,
Steadicam, dude.
but-
Halloween, like, cinematography was pretty epic.
Yeah, but this
Well,
this took two steady
this-
cams and jerked them off the whole
was
time.
This was a
True,
wild
true.
new whole approach with Steadicam.
Yeah, true.
So, but
But
yeah,
I mean,
I know what you're
I
saying.
don't know.
It's
I always
just,
think Halloween will always kind of be like the Steadicam OG, though. You know?
I can
just
see
the OG.
why this movie is a benchmark. It could be considered a benchmark in
Yes, definitely,
visuals
definitely.
for this genre.
And I think that's why it
don't
probably is
think-
considered top.
I don't think much other than the visuals is extended on like the like what people take from this movie. I think people take the visuals from this movie over everything else.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
And the
it's-
performance,
That's why.
the performance of her.
This
I think the
movie's best
performance of her.
unmute.
I think no. I honestly think when people talk about this movie, they always talk about her performance just as much as they do the cinematography because she was pretty great. That's not a lot of the first things they mentioned because I listened to a lot of interviews.
I'm actually curious how I'm gonna feel about this movie in like a month or so, because sometimes movies like have some growth on you. You know what I'm saying? Like in hindsight, you kind of start thinking about it more. It's like I'm just curious if I'm gonna like it anymore, or if I'm gonna be like, it sucks. I can see it growing on me in ways, but I still probably
Didn't you feel that way about
Jack?
Jack, House of Jack Bill? You were like, "Fuck this movie," and then you watched it a few times. You're like, "Actually, this is pretty good." Didn't you feel that way, or was that Anthony? One of you felt that way.
Kind of that.
I
Sort
kinda
of.
liked
It's
it.
like I appreciate aspects of it, but I still don't like what it's doing. But I definitely think
Yeah.
it's a well-made movie.
You're not supposed to like what it's doing, though. Like, you
Right.
think
I
I
like what he's
enjoy
doing.
the fact that he's doing what he's doing? No, like I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like promote
Yeah,
that,
good
but
name.
it's in cinema. It's entertaining as fuck.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna go do that or endorse it, but as a movie, it's fucking great. Anyway,
wild.
yeah, I would recommend this movie to people, even people who wouldn't like it. I would recommend it to them just to be like, They watched Possession. Good for you. I guarantee you about 80% of people wouldn't get through this movie though. So that's another thing. This is like a 30-minute in kind of like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yeah,
is
I
a
think around that
movie-
point I probably would have dropped it.
It's a movie I would recommend to someone that I would say, you want to sound a little snobby about movies? Watch this one. You want to be a movie snob? Watch this one. You can tell people you watch this one. Other than that, I don't think it's worth watching.
Or like, what's the most fucked up movie you've seen? Or like, what's a fucking crazy ass movie?
But
Like,
this isn't even that
this would
fucked
come
up.
up.
I've seen way more fucked up movies than this.
Fucked up. Yeah, you're right. But crazy, just crazy.
It's
in
like a
itself.
fever dream.
It's a wild, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to watch?
And it's one of the first of its kind in that way. So
Any final thoughts on Possession?
yeah, check
watch-
it out.
Watch Infinity Pool instead.